So today we are going to learn a little bit more about the Japanese language. So last time we have learned Japanese language is called Nihongo. In Japanese, Nihongo. And we have 3 different characters, which is hiragana, the very basic, the very important characters. And then katakana for foreign words, sounds, and catchiness. So when you want to make the word stand out, or for academic names and stuff, we do use katakana. And kanji, Chinese characters, all mixed. And we also use romaji or romaji, Latin script to write Japanese, as a bridge between alphabets. Alphabet world and Japanese world. I believe so, because romaji helps the Japanese learners, the Japanese beginner learners, to help read Japanese characters before they learn hiragana, katakana, kanji. And for the also Japanese people to write their names or words in alphabets, so that the people outside of Japan can also read, or for us to express our words or feelings in non-Japanese speaking countries. Right, so hiragana and katakana, as we learned last time, 46 basic syllables or sounds, we could say. So the same sounds, the same syllables, just different alphabet, just different characters. Like this, a, I, U, E, O, blah, blah, blah. The katakana, so all the same sounds, syllables, different characters. So today we go a bit further regarding hiragana and katakana. 46 syllables or characters are not enough to write or transcribe every word. So we need to learn 4 more points. First one, magical dots and circles. I will say it's magical because they just transform. Some K, K sound, S sound, T sound, H sound into G, Z, D, B sound. And magical circles, that will turn sound into P sound. And we also learn little ya, you, yo. They're also magical because that makes hair salon, which is byoin, transform into byoin, hospital. I would say that's magical. So this is like little yo. So you can see the size, and the size becomes almost half, not exactly, but almost half size. And the third one, little tsu, or you could say double consonants. For example, saka, which means slope, becomes saka. This sound, like little tsu, pronunciation will be written when there's a double consonant in Japanese. The last one, the fourth one, long vowels in Japanese. For example, oba-san, aunt or middle-aged woman, with long vowels, oba-san. That's a transformation into a grandmother or elderly woman. So these 4 points we will learn today. Magical dots. So kakiku, keko, k sound with these dots, like 2 dots on the right corner, right upper corner. When you write these dots on kakiku, keko, that will become G sound. K becomes G sound. So kakiku, keko becomes gagigu, geko. Gagigu, geko. In the same way, sashisu, seso. So S sound becomes zajizu, zezo. Z sound. So S sound becomes Z sound. Same way, tachitsuteto. sound becomes d sound. 다지즈데도 with these two dots on upper right. Well, you've just seen ji, zu before here. It's the same sound. It's the same sound, but different characters. What usually plus two dots, zu plus two dots. That's more exceptional. So we usually use this one. Right, and then ha, hi, hu, he, ho. H sound becomes ba, bi, bu, be, bo. B sound, b sound. With the two dots on upper right. Ha, hi, hu, he, ho becomes ba, bi, bu, be, bo. And then magical circle. So instead of two dots, we put little circle on upper right of the ha, hi, hu, he, ho. This is only ha, hi, hu, he, ho. That becomes P sound. Sounds become P sound. Ha, hi, hu, he, ho becomes pa, pi, pu, pe, po. Pa, pi, pu, pe, po. So in the, I can make the a table where you can have the overview of the whole. Magical dots and magical circle. So K sound, G sound. S sound becomes Z sound. T sound becomes D sound. Well, except that Ji, Z. That's more like G and Z sound. Ha, hi, hu, he, ho becomes both P sound and a B sound and P sound. Ba, bi, bu, be, bo and pa, bi, bu, be, bo. Those transformation. And the katakana is the same sound, just different characters. Some of them are similar. Some of them, they look totally different, so you have to memorize it in time. Right, so the next one, little ya, you, yo. Little ya, you, yo, it's called contracted sound. For example, 비요인, bi, yo. This independent yo becomes little. When it's written half size, that would be byo instead of bi, yo. 비요인 becomes byo인. This is called contracted sound. This happens with here. I column. I, ki, shi, chi, ni, hi, mi, ri. Except I. Ki plus ya, you, yo. Shi plus ya, you, yo. Chi plus ya, you, yo. Ni plus ya, you, yo. Hi plus ya, you, yo. Mi plus ya, you, yo. Li plus ya, you, yo. Like this. Ki plus little ya becomes kya. Ki plus little you. Kyu. Ki plus little yo. Kyo. And so on in the table. So left side, that's hiragana. Right side, that's katakana. Kya, kyu, kyo with a K sound. Ya, you, yo. Sha, shu, sho. Cha, chu, cho. Nya, nyu, nyo. Hya, hyu, hyo. Mya, myu, myo. This is hard to pronounce. Dia, du, dio. This is not ria, riu, real, but in the middle of L and R, dia, du, dio. You can practice. The next, ya, yu, gyo. Ja, ju, jo. Well, logically, it's G as a J, Y, A, J, Y, U, J, Y, O. But I mean, it just makes more sense to write this way. J with A, J with U, J with O. That would ja, ju, jo. In Japanese, it's written this way in hiragana and katakana. Next one, bya, byu, byo. The last one, pya, pyu, pyo. Right. Hope it's okay. Hope you're with me. Good. Maybe you can have a look at the example in hiragana. Let's start with hiragana. So here you can see shi, ya, shi, shi, ya, shi. It's all big letters. But when you make this, little ya after shi, that becomes sha, shashin, shashin, which means picture. The next one, ri, yo, u, ri, ryori. What is it? When you make yo smaller, ryo becomes ryo, contracted sound, ryo, ryori, which means cooking. In katakana, that looks like this. Chi, ya, su, chiansu. What? When you make this ya into a small one, that will become chance, chance, instead of chiansu, chance, chance. And ji, ya, pa, ji, ya, pa, what is it? Well, you should make this ya smaller, and then that would be ja, Japan, Japan, Japan. Well, the next one, little tsu, little tsu, can be also called double consonants. Or we just had a look at this one, for example, saka, saka, which means slope. When in Japanese, when it's written with double consonants, it's pronounced saka, saka, instead of saka. Double consonants, saka. It just sounds like there's a pause, a breath, maybe, when you stop breathing, just 1 second, saka. Well, half a second, I heard, half a second. Saka, saka, slope, saka, writer, or maybe author. And kata, kata, which means shoulder, double consonant, tt, which means boat as a verb, or won, I bought something. Kata, instead of kata. Kata, shoulder. Kata, boat or one. So there's a difference when there is a little tsu in hiragana or in katakana. It's the same. So I wrote more example here. The left side in hiragana and then the right side katakana. Hiragana with double consonants. For example, pp, double pp here in Japanese. Kippu, kippu, train ticket. So if there is no little tsu between, that'll be kippu, kippu. So there's double consonant in pronunciation, kippu, and then you have to write little tsu. Magazine in Japanese, zashi, 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 instead of zashi. You have to put little tsu in between, zashi, and then that'll be magazine. Okay, let's have a look at the katakana example. Roku, which means rock, like rock music. Roku, roku. Oh, it could be the same, a lock as when you close the door and lock with a key. That'll be also roku, roku, because there is no L and R difference in Japanese, so that can be both. I wrote it as a rock music, rock. But there's two Ks, so double consonants here. So you have to have little tsu in between, roku. So if there's no tsu, that'll be roku, roku, which means 6. So roku, roku. The pronunciation is sort of, stopping breathing. You hold a breath a little while. Roku, roku. Swallowing the sound, roku, contracted sound. The last example, bagu, bagu, which means bag, bagu, bagu, double G. So double consonants, so you write little tsu in between. But here in the middle here, you can see there's always an exception. So if you see NN, which can be double consonant, this is exception. This is an exception. For example, 3年, 3年, 3 years, 3, 3, 年 years. 3 years would be 3年. That wouldn't be written as 3円. It's just plus 何ぬね no, this N follows afterward. So NN, when you want to see NN, that wouldn't be little tsu, although it looks like double consonants, but it's just plus 何ぬね no. That's it. So long vowels, the last one. Long vowels in hiragana. A, I, U. Long vowels. A, I, U. Will be very simple. You just add A and I and U afterwards. And then that becomes long vowels. For example, おばあさん. おばあさん. Long vowels. おばあさん, which means grandmother. You can compare with おばさん. That's a short vowel. おばさん, which means aunt. So there's a big difference. When you say it short, おばさん, that's an aunt or middle-aged woman. When you say おばさん, long vowels, that becomes grandmother or elderly woman. The same way, おじいさん, おじいさん, long vowel, which means grandfather, おじいさん, grandfather. You can compare with the おじさん without long E. So when you make it short, おじさん, that's an uncle or middle-aged man. So there's a difference. おばあさん, おばさん. おじさん, おじさん. And long vowels. For example, 数字, 数字. 数字. So you just add and then it becomes long vowels. 数字, which means number. And o. There are some words like literally お姉さん, older sister, お姉さん. That's with after ne. There's 姉さん, long vowel with so it's written literally with but you have to be careful. 映画, which means movie, 映画. This is written with i, が as it's written, but the pronunciation will be 映画, 映画. Same way, or long vowels. For example, と. This is 10 in old style. と. This is written literally と o, long vowel. O, to. But most of the words with o, long vowels, it's written with u. For example, 弟. It sounds o, right? But it's written with u. So you don't really pronounce it as 弟. 弟. It's more like 弟. You can have a look at this table. けせてねへめ. column. column. When long vowels comes after this けせてねへめ で, this long vowel will be written with i. For example, 映画 movie. That'sいが it's written. 政治 which means politics. 政治 it's written, but pronunciation 政治 long vowel. And o long vowel. So if the long vowel comes after おこそとのほもよろ, that will be written with u, just like little brother 弟. The pronunciation is o, but it's written with u after to. The same way, 掃除, 掃除, long vowel, o, but it's written with そうじ, そうじ. So the pronunciation wouldn't be いがせいじ, 音うとそうじ. It's more like がせいじ, 弟掃除. That's a bit tricky, but when you get a grip of it, it's way easier to read Japanese more properly. And katakana, long vowels in katakana, it's so easy. It's just a hyphen, like it's just a line, just a line. For example, Denmark in Japanese, it's called Denmark, mark. This long vowel, it's just a line. Keiki, cake. We pronounce it keiki. So for us, it's a long vowel. In English, it's cake. But in Japanese, it's called keiki. So for us, it's long vowel. So we put a line, hyphen, between ke and ki. That makes it cake. Keiki. Cheese. In Japanese, cheese. This e long vowel. It's written with just a line. Yogurt. Yoguruto. Yoguruto. This O sound. It's just a line between yo and gu. Yoroppa. That's actually Europe. Europe in Japanese, it's Yoroppa. Yoroppa. So you can see yo o long vowel as in a line or hyphen, and you can also see the little tsu, so double consonants pp. So that's also written with little tsu in katakana. So Yoroppa. That's it. Thank you for watching. お疲れ様でした. If you want to practice Japanese with us and meet you and your classmates, you're more than welcome to join us. おかえりスクール